Whether you're new to the digital nomad lifestyle or you've been doing long-term travel for a longer period of time, staying healthy while traveling can definitely be a challenge. Jet lag, adjusting to a new location, different time zones, language barriers, unfamiliar foods, limited luggage space, and a lack of consistent routine can all play a part when it comes to maintaining a healthy lifestyle on your travels. Today, I'm sharing the top 10 ways that I stay healthy as a digital nomad and long-term traveler. You're going to want to stick around until the end because some of my tips might surprise you. No matter where you're at on your travel journey, you're definitely going to walk away from this video with some valuable nuggets and fresh inspiration to carry with you as you continue on your travels. Hey everyone, Paige here from The True Voyager. Welcome to my channel. And in case you're new here, last year I sold all of my belongings, quit my corporate 9-to-5, left my home of 15 years and bought a one-way ticket to Europe. I was able to finally become location independent, and ever since then I've been working remotely and traveling the world as a digital nomad. I've learned a ton along the way and I'm excited to share it with you. Now, I do want to mention that as far as health tips go, I'm sharing my personal perspective as a woman in her late 30s, and I'm also on my own individual journey with my health. And health is very subjective, it's completely unique to each of us. And of course, there's some general guiding principles, but at the end of the day, being healthy is not a one size fits all. And what works for me might not work for you, and it might not be relevant to your experience. So just keep that in mind while watching this video. Either way, I do think that you'll find some valuable nuggets of information regardless of who you are and where you're at on your travel journey. I'm so grateful to have the ability to work from anywhere, and I feel truly blessed to be able to travel internationally and to explore the world. And while my travels thus far have been incredible, I have learned that maintaining good physical and mental health isn't always easy when you don't have a home base. But I do believe that staying healthy while traveling is completely possible. I won't say that it's easy because for me it really hasn't been, but it's completely attainable. And I think it just requires some thoughtful intention and planning on the front end, as well as an authentic commitment to yourself and your health. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm 38 years old and I'm moving into a season in my life where I'm slowing down quite a bit. And I'm just present to a lot of changes that are happening in my body and with my energy levels. I think for those of us who are a bit older, focusing on your health while you're traveling does require more intention and preparation than, for instance, someone who's in their early 20s that has like an unlimited amount of energy. We're just going to be having different experiences, so keep that in mind as well. That leads me to my first tip, which is to pack your health essentials. So just like with health generally speaking, health essentials are going to be unique to every individual. What's important to me might not be important to you, and you know yourself better than anyone, so only you can know which items are going to be essential for you. My health essentials are my Manduka travel yoga mat, my workout clothes, my walking shoes or my tennis shoes. I also have some Herbal-Infused body oils from Amber over at Mythic Medicine that I really love. She makes a mugwort infused oil as well as a St. John's wort infused oil, and I'm actually running low on both of them, which is very sad, but at least when I run out, I'll have a little more space in my toiletry bag. My other must-haves are a magnesium supplement, some electrolytes, and some basic over-the-counter pain medications in case of emergencies. Whatever your health essentials are, just distill down your must-haves into a list of things that are not only gonna fit in your luggage, but are gonna make sense for you and your travels. Actually, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a video about packing for long-term travel and what I've personally got in my suitcase. Okay, so tip number 2 is travel slow. Depending on how much time you have to spend in each place and how long you plan to be traveling long-term, slow travel is definitely the best way to both save money and prioritize your health. Being in one location for a longer period of time allows you to really sink in and to ground down and to establish a routine. It also just gives you more control over your environment. For example, if you're jumping from hotel to hotel every couple of days, you might not have access to a kitchen or even a refrigerator in some cases. And since food is obviously an important part of health, more on that later, that can be a real challenge, especially if you have dietary preferences or food aversions or intolerances or anything like that. Eating out for every meal is not only expensive, but it's not good for your overall general health either. So, being in one location for a few weeks to even a few months really allows you to find your local grocery stores, find the foods that you like, do regular grocery runs, and cook regular healthy meals for yourself. It also allows you to get to know the area, check out local parks, find like the walking paths and the hiking trails and local gyms and yoga studios. My first 4 months of travel were long and slow, where I stayed like 1 month in each place. And then recently I've been traveling at a faster pace, which has been a challenge for me. I would say if you're in my situation, like if you're healing something specific or if you're dealing with an autoimmune disorder, I would say that slow travel is going to be a lot more important. If you're young, if you're full of energy, if you're not dealing with any health issues, then like good for you and do your thing. And like fast travel might be totally what you need. It might be super activating and really enjoyable for you. But just take that into consideration depending on what phase of life you're in and where you're at on your journey. So to piggyback off of that, tip 3 is to do your research before you arrive to a new location. Before I arrive at a new place, I do a little bit of research on Google Maps to find like the local grocery stores and farmers markets and health food shops and yoga studios. And I see where all of those things are in relationship to like my accommodation. And I love Google Maps because you can create different saved lists and you can designate specific emojis for those lists, which is actually really helpful because if you are doing long-term travel, chances are you're going to save a lot of businesses within Google Maps. And yeah, if you don't assign an emoji, it's just going to be like this ocean of blue dots. And then when you're going back to look for a specific business, you're gonna have to click on each one to find out what you're looking for. And it's actually really annoying and takes a long time. So yeah, pro tip. But yeah, researching on the front end is gonna really help save you a lot of time and allow you to just sink into your health routine right away when you arrive. I also recommend joining like local Facebook groups for that location and like an expat groups, or they have groups for travelers to ask questions and stuff. I usually join a few of those groups a couple weeks before my arrival date, and that gives me time to ask specific questions. Like for instance, I prefer organic food and raw dairy products and like grass-fed meat and stuff like that. So those are products that aren't always easy to find, especially in a foreign country. So if I ask ahead of time, like ask the locals where those things might be, typically I can get an answer and plan ahead so that I'm not like wasting time trying to figure all that out once I get to my location. So yeah, remember, just a little bit of planning goes a long way. Okay, so tip 4 is to cook your own meals as often as possible. Another straightforward tip, the more you can control your environment, the easier it is to tend to your body and your health. So this obviously will allow you to choose the foods and ingredients that are best for you and your body's needs. And to do this, you will need, accommodation that has a kitchen. Generally speaking, I go with Airbnb if I'm looking for a kitchen. But that being said, I have found a few like really nice hotels that have kitchens in them as well, or a kitchenette. It really depends. You just have to do some research, and Booking.com has a cool filter feature where you can filter that in. Yeah, and hostels usually have kitchens, but not always. So something you definitely want to double check. Some hostels don't even provide refrigerators. But if your budget and your itinerary allows for it, I would definitely recommend staying somewhere with a kitchen so that you can cook all your own meals. And this is connected to my next step, which is to prioritize whole foods as often as you can. Now, obviously, food is a huge component to anybody's health, and it's a big, complex topic, and there's lots of, different ways of eating and lots of viewpoints around all of that. I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm not going to tell you what diet you should be doing. I'm not going to tell you what regimen you should be following. Like, I don't know enough about you or your life or your circumstances to make that kind of a judgment call, because, just like health, food is certainly not a one size fits all, and different people need different things, and everyone's on their own path and everyone has their own relationship to food. But I think if I can safely say one thing, it's that whole foods are healthier than processed foods. I feel confident about that statement. And broadly speaking, if you incorporate mostly whole foods into your diet, regardless of if you're vegan or vegetarian or omnivore or whatever, you're going to be in good shape. Processed foods are harmful to human health, so the more we can avoid them, the better. Plain and simple. I have like a sub tip here for this one. For your long travel days, I highly suggest planning ahead. And what I usually do is I cook a healthy meal the night before. I have a little to-go container that I brought with me on my travels, and I pack up a to-go meal for my long travel day, because those are the hardest days to eat healthy, because you're at the whim of the airport or the train station or like whatever food they have available on the trains or planes, and they're not always healthy. most of the time they're not healthy. Sometimes they have good options here and there, but it really depends on the airline or the train service, so better just to plan ahead and like bring some healthy snacks as well. So tip number 6 is daily movement. Another straightforward tip. The more you move, the happier your body will be. And we know that a sedentary lifestyle causes stagnation, and that can lead to sickness or disease. So just prioritize some sort of movement every day. And for me, like I said, I'm in a stage in my life where I'm slowing down a little bit. And so for me, it's less about push, go, trying to do the most high intensity workouts ever. That's actually not going to be beneficial for me or my body where I'm at in my life. I'm prioritizing movement that is slow, gentle, nourishing, easeful, that feels good, that feels fun. So yeah, depending on where you're at, it could be similar for you or it could be different. Like you might have a ton of energy and you might be wanting to do long runs and cycling or spin class or high intensity interval training, or it's going to look different for everybody. So just feel into what's right for you, and just the more we move, the better. It's simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just move your body more in a way that feels good for you and that doesn't feel stressful. That leads us to my next tip, tip 7, which is to walk everywhere. This is honestly one of the best things that any of us could do for our health, and it's so easy to do while traveling. When you're in a new location or a new city, it's the best way to go out and explore, to see the sights, to take it all in, get your bearings, figure out where your accommodations are in relation to other things around the city. And if you're traveling through Europe, most European cities are super walkable, and they have great public transportation as well. So you could, do something where you go for a super long walk, and then when you get tired, take the public transportation back. But yeah, walking, super good for our health, super easy to do. Do it. Okay, so switching gears, my next health tip is to mitigate blue light and artificial light before sunrise and after sunset. Hopefully by now, all of us are aware of the negative health implications of blue light. And like the artificial blue light from our cell phones and our laptops and computers and televisions can negatively affect us and disrupt our natural hormone production. And that can affect our circadian rhythms, which can affect our sleep, which can affect our overall health. Overexposure to blue light has been linked to weight gain, hormone disruption, thyroid disorders, shorter lifespan. Really, like human beings are meant to rise with the sun and sleep when it's dark. And obviously that's not always realistic because we live in a modern society and things look different now than they did thousands of years ago. But even dimming the lights and avoiding blue light in the evenings can really help signal to our bodies that it's time for sleep in the evening. And when we get good sleep, our bodies and our cells can fully regenerate, and then we're bright and fresh the next day, and that affects our long-term health when we're talking about our sleep health over time. So sleep is just so crucial for good health, especially as we get older. So if I need to be on screens after sundown, or if I want to watch some TV or stream something before bed, I like to wear blue blocking glasses. So I use the brand Viva Ray. I have actually 2 pairs from them. I have their yellow pairs, which are for daytime, which I actually find it really useful because I work on the computer a lot. So that helps protect my eyes when I'm on screens a lot of the time. And then if it's in the evening, I have my dark orange pair. Yeah. So this video is not sponsored by Viva Ray, and I'm not an affiliate. I just really love their company, and I love the glasses, and they're pretty affordable. I think I paid around $120 for each pair. They're legit. They're legit. You can check them out. I'll put a link in the description below. And that actually leads me to my next tip, which is to get morning and evening sunlight in your eyeballs. Now, I'm not an expert on this topic by any means, but in the last year or so, I've been learning a lot about circadian health from a woman named Sarah Kleiner. Her company is called Sarah Kleiner Wellness, and she's a doctor who has extensively studied the effects of sunlight and blue light and artificial light, and she talks a lot about the importance of getting outside for both sunrise and sunset to help stabilize our hormone health and our circadian rhythms. And the specific frequency of the sunlight at those times helps our bodies and our nervous systems to sync up with like the natural cycles of nature. And morning sunlight helps our hormones slowly rise to prepare us for the day. And then the evening sunset rays help our bodies to slow down and to prepare for sleep and rest. This might be a new concept for some of you, and if you're feeling activated by this information or triggered maybe, or just feeling skeptical of it, I really encourage you to check out Sarah Kleiner's work and learn a little bit more. Her website has tons of resources and links to studies that talk about circadian health and the positive benefits of sunlight and the negative impact of blue light and artificial light. So go ahead and check her out and let me know what you think. Okay, so I've got one last tip for you, and that is to tend to your spiritual health. You know, health is not a vacuum, it's holistic, which means that for optimal health, there is like a complex matrix of different factors to consider. You know, when the mind, body, and spirit are in balance, we can experience health and harmony in our lives. And so, yes, of course, like taking care of our physical vessel is super important. I believe that. But mind and spirit are equally important. Just like some of my other tips, this is going to look different for everybody. Some of my favorite ways to tend to my heart and spirit are through journaling, doing a daily gratitude list, daily prayer and ritual. I like to set up a little travel altar at every location that I'm in. I actually did a whole video on how to maintain a healthy spiritual practice as a digital nomad or long-term traveler, and I'll link it right up here. So check that out if that interests you and if you want to learn more about that. I also sometimes do breath work or meditation or Kundalini yoga, which is actually sort of a combination between movement, mantra, and breath work. And I also like to sing and use music as a way to tend to my spirit because I am a musician and a vocalist, and music is just such an important tool for me, and it's a medicine that I carry with me and take with me wherever I go. If all of that sounds a little overwhelming to you, I would just suggest starting out with a simple morning practice. Maybe that's just 5 minutes of meditation and writing a list of 5 things that you're grateful for, or maybe it's doing 15 minutes of stretching, or maybe it's doing a morning walk, or just getting out in nature at least once per day. You know, again, it's going to look different for everybody. It doesn't have to be complicated or time consuming. Just try and carve out a little bit of space for yourself each day to be quiet and calm and present. Well, there you have it. Those are my top 10 tips for staying healthy as a digital nomad. And I'd love to know how these all landed for you. What did you think? Are you already implementing some of these tips? Like, did any of these suggestions surprise you? Were you maybe activated by some of these suggestions? Were you inspired? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for being here. Over here at The True Voyager, I post a new video every Wednesday and every Saturday. And if you found value in what I've shared today, or if you're just feeling the vibe, please do share, like, and subscribe, as all of those things really do help me as a new YouTuber with a smaller YouTube channel. So I really hope that this video was helpful for you, and thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.